Hey, what's up, everybody? Cheers to a weird stream, but actually a really good stream. I love doing this shit. So,
hit the plunger.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it. While I'm doing it. So, yeah, perfect. Get the volume down.
Cheers, everyone.
Well, I apologize. I'm the only normal one tonight.
I did make a coffee old fashioned. So,
Yeah.
You guys make me drink peated scotch, and then you can't even drink coffee? Bro.
I'm not drinking coffee at fucking, 9:30.
I said coffee drinks.
I said
when
coffee.
You got some Starbucks Frappuccino.
Besides, are you one of those people that coffee affects enough that you can't go to sleep?
It's not even about. It's not even the caffeine. It's just I don't want to be all up. So I took your recommendation and I went with a rye. We got the Prideful Goat. The batch 2.
I see they got some 12-year rye coming out.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing coffee and cigars. Now, some of us are going to be doing whiskey. Some of you do coffee drinks, stuff like that. I'm finishing up a Valor right now. I'm going to switch to the Ton. Both of them go great with coffee type of drinks, which I love. So,
you poser.
Oh, one sec, guys. One sec.
I'm full of it tonight. Watch out.
Well, possibly. Someone might. If they do, I'll let them know. Coffee and cigar. Yeah, what's up, Vic? Cheers, buddy. Cigar table talk. Cheers.
This freaking sinus shit. Fuck. I'm over it.
All right, straight rye for Mr. Bobby.
I did, Mr. Tats. I got my koozie for See You in the Northern Territory.
Yeah.
It was very funny, though, when I unpacked it, I left it on the table, and my wife went, "What is that?" And I was like, "What's my koozie?" And she's like, "Kind of looks like it's I said, "No, it's See You in the Northern Territory." And she's like, "Yeah, right." And I was like, "That's what it is." I said, "Why are you being such a cunt about it?" She's like, and she's like, "That's not right." And I was like, "Oh, I'm just saying."
That's awesome. What's going on, Mr. Franchise? Thanks for stopping out.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I know people know this, right? I do coffee and cigars all the time. All the time. I really like it. I enjoy it. Yeah, it's a weird hour this evening to do it or whatever. But for me and Chris, we can pretty much sleep right after having an espresso.
Yes, we've done that.
Yeah, Zach likes coffee. Zach just doesn't want to be awake with coffee.
If I'm going to do coffee, I want it in the morning.
Yeah, so it doesn't bother me. You know what? I will say, though, I made a nice coffee old fashioned, and it kicks ass.
I'm
on it because it has that big espresso note on the finish.
So just a 6-year-old cast strength rye, man.
What's up, Ben?
So I just threw that in the chat, but I'm having a little bigger than an espresso, but an espresso blend. some nice electric. It's supposed to say monkey, not money. I don't know why I corrected it, but electric monkey.
Yeah, but all the coffee,
monkey.
my coffee tonight was from our friends.
At Drifting Drams.
The Drifting Drams, the Turks.
Bridget drank my last thing at Drifting Drams, Ben. You can tell Katie. She already knows.
I used the, I forget which one it was, but it was one of the French presses.
The Delilah?
Might have been that.
I think you're having Delilah.
Might have been. So, but, yeah, so I made a.
I'm telling Katie.
Did one of their espressos, and then I did one of their regular ones. So I have my regular one here in my Battalion koozie, or not koozie, but my tumbler. And then I use their espresso and put it in my drink.
Nice.
Oh, man.
So how was your guys' day? Good?
Good.
Yeah.
What's up, Gunny?
You know,
Gunny.
living the sinus infection congestion life. It's wonderful.
Oh, yeah. So someone asked, what is in my old fashioned? My coffee old fashioned. So there's a couple of different ways of making it. It depends on if you're making it in bulk or if you're just making a quick individual one. So if I'm doing an individual one, I actually will use an espresso. So I'll take espresso and I'll make an espresso. I won't just use like the beans or nothing. So in this one, I used Sagamore rye rum finish, and I did the Drifting Drams espresso. I did 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, orange bitters, chocolate bitters, and these sticky cherries with a dab of sticky cherry sauce, which is the juice that's in there. Instead of using other kinds of sweeteners, I just used the sweetener from the sticky cherries. Put it in a shaker and then poured it over an ice sphere.
Bobby and his sticky ickies getting it done.
I guess something like that could stand up to that much sweet. You probably actually need it.
Well, the nice thing is you get that espresso bitter in there as well, and it all pours together like that.
Otherwise it would just be like, okay.
Espresso bitters are underrated, man.
Oh, I'm telling you, man.
Just saying that it would be, from a balance standpoint of a cocktail, it would be too much.
If you have 24 hours to kill, get yourself like a mason quart jar and put whatever coffee beans you want. Put the beans in there. Put some maple syrup in there. Put your booze in there.
Your booze or your shaboozy? So
usually a true mason jar, we're talking about using a bottle, right? Not a little bit. We're using a bottle. So a 750 milliliter of rye is what I usually use. Put your coffee beans in the bottom of it. Put, probably like 2 ounces. If you're making a big mason jar, then 2 ounces of maple syrup. I throw, quite a few dashes of bitters in it. I use orange bitters and chocolate bitters. And then I put in when I get all that done, whatever's at the top, I put water in it. And just to get the sweet kick down. And then I shake the shit out of it and put it in the refrigerator for 24 hours. And then afterwards, you bring it out and just pour it over ice. Put a orange spritz or whatever.
Yeah, just give it a shake.
Throw a sticky cherry in there or two, and it's fucking amazing. It has a great kickoff. Like you taste all of the normal old fashioned stuff up front, but you get that coffee in the back end, and it's such a nice, pleasant thing. So
I can make so many jokes right now.
I know. Keep it clean. Keep it clean.
You guys shaking the hell out of it before he puts his sticky icky balls in there.
That's right.
Oh man.
And then the coffee in the back. Come on now. Definitely not a Diddy party at Bobby's.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this out loud. I don't think rye is my favorite with the ton.
Really? I
Yeah.
love rye with.
I love rye with it, but I mean, everybody likes what they like with it, right? I find rye to be. Now, I will say this, and I said this to Chris the other night.
Zach, I think you need a higher proofer, honestly.
I got, dude, it's at 60 freaking %, man.
Is it finished?
No.
You know what would go great with the ton, and I haven't done it, and I haven't even thought about it? The 4-gate Andalusia Key rye. The one that's that Mexican mole style.
Oh.
I mean, that's what I call it. They don't call it that.
No, we have the ton. They're on. We have them. We got those before the hurricanes.
Yeah. We had guys actually got theirs delivered today. The guys who ordered after our stream or during our stream last week, they got their orders today. They were delivered.
Cool.
So first guys that ordered them have received them.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Zachary, your boxy box of greatness goes out tomorrow.
Cool, man. Like I said, no worries.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. Our resident coffee expert in the house. What is up, Miss Katie?
How's it going, you guys?
Fantastic.
How you doing?
Doing good. Just sipping some coffee.
Hey, that's my time. See, I'm telling you what, Katie. I'm with you. I could drink coffee 24/7.
Oh yeah, we could too. We live on it around here, but
coffee and liquid death.
You know,
It's
I like it when it's cold out. You know, when it's cooler out. You know, and I like to have it in the morning. If I'm gonna have it, I want to have it in the morning.
You know, I get these like moments where I'm just like, man, coffee just sounds great, and it doesn't matter because I can have coffee and go right to bed. It doesn't do that. Some people it does, and I understand that. I get it. You know, the gunny can't have like caffeine or something past like what 6. After 6 o'clock, he's done. He's like, I'm going to be wired all night. I just don't have that. You know.
yeah.
I don't know. It's like a mood. It's like a mood thing for me. You know, I kind of got to be in the mood for it. It's not that I don't like it. It's just I have to be in the mood for it.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I will say that I have done some. What did I have the other day? That I had one of the espressos pouches open, and I took a little pinch of the espresso out, and I put it in. I like kind of did it as a little coating where I just did it like a little pinch and just used it on top of something. I forget what I was doing with it, but it was delicious. It wasn't even in the coffee. I just put it on top of something. I don't remember what it was. It was something like a cake or something like that. And I threw some espresso, just a light little pinch of espresso on the top. And I was like, well, that's wonderful.
Awesome.
Dude, you gotta try espresso crusting a steak.
Really? I'm all for trying that. That sounds
Oh, it's good.
Do you use like mustard for a binder? What do you bind it with?
Probably just oil. Just give it a light coating of oil. And
well, usually if I do that, I usually use mustard or something as a binder because mustard burns off.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't have the mustard taste.
I really didn't use much because the one that I recently put it on, I got a 28-day dry aged ribeye.
Yeah,
and then used that, and I used some smoked flake Muldoon salt. So you got the smokiness and the saltiness, and then the espresso.
The flaky salt, like after it's been cooked and ripe, you know, you go to slice it and just that one last little bit of salt on there. That's the best stuff, man.
The Celtic salt or the Muldoon's flake salt. It's the way to go.
Yeah, it's got to be a flaky salt. You know, you want those like little slivers to.
So it's funny. We had someone jump on that. Now I know who it is, you know, but left Ethan's to jump on because Katie was over here. My favorite Blue Devil fan.
Blakey.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I cut out for a little bit from them. They're enjoying their cigars for pups and pours.
Yeah.
So,
Mexican
jumped over
decaf.
'cause
Mexican decaf. Tell us.
yeah, so we sourced its 25 pounds of a Mexican decaf that's like chocolatey, a little bit citrusy. And most people are like very skeptical of, decaf in general, just because they don't think it's good. And the stuff you get in the store really isn't. But if you get single origin stuff or blend single origin beans, decaf is just incredible. You wouldn't even be able to tell that it's a decaf. It doesn't have that, extra almost metallic-y taste, I think is how I would describe
Yeah.
store-bought
Yeah.
decaf. So
I can agree with that 100%.
So I can tell you, I love the French presses.
awesome.
I love them.
Yeah, those are those blends. So yeah, we've been
so
really
good.
digging on them.
They're really good. And it's nice to bean it for me. It's an easy kind of thing because I can pour to however I want to make, how strong I want it or whatever, And I like strong. I like my stuff strong. So that makes it a lot nicer when I can just do it that way. And like tonight, I used one of your espressos in my old fashioned. I did a coffee old fashioned.
Nice. That's always fun. Yeah, we did a custom blend for Scott and Jason for the Bardstown Blitz.
Nice.
And people have been really, really enjoying it. Saying it pairs well with like San Andreas wrapper cigars. Ethan loves it just with so probably the ton. It would probably pair well with the ton.
Right.
But it's Burundi and Colombian, and it's pretty roasty. It's probably the darkest roast. You can ask Ben, but he had it this morning and said it was darker and more roasty than what we normally do. And that was kind of the goal, like have a little bit of fruit shine through, but mostly make it that dark roasty profile. If you add like a little half and half to it, have like a real creamy, like baker's chocolate, note to it.
That Burundi and Brazilian blend you made me was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh.
I gotta get into that more.
I still can't get over that. I still can't get over that one. That was so good.
Yeah, we kind of played with that one a little bit, and so our boss lady is Brazilian and Burundi. So
nice.
Yeah.
I need to order more.
Now I know that you guys had the Valor. Have they got the 10 yet, Chris?
Yeah, so we got it in, and I think Ethan's planning on smoking one this weekend, probably in like Saturday morning or something.
Hey, if he's interested in the morning or something like that to do something, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cigars almost every morning.
Okay, yeah, he does a lot of cigars and pipes in the morning, but particularly on the weekend. Like once we get up, we just sit on the deck, have coffee, and he enjoys a cigar. The dogs get to play outside for a while.
No, I sit out on my back deck, and I usually have, I have a decent little amount of deer that play around in the backyard, and then I have like other critters. I have Bigfoot. He chills out back there sometimes.
Nice.
Dude, you got death squirrels.
I do. I mean, I tell you what. There's a
diving from tree to tree and like almost dying.
I can't tell you how many of them have fell from like 100 feet to the ground and just get up and run. And I'm like, that's slick.
Dude, I thought that one died when we were out having cigars on your patio that one morning. That got caught between two branches. It was the death ball, and
he dove and he fell between two branches and got stuck.
He was hanging there motionless for like 10 minutes, and all of a sudden, he just starts climbing back up the tree. I'm like, what?
He was in shock. I think they go in shock to like protect themselves.
Dude,
and
has to be.
Well, at least he wasn't like the ones that get caught in the fences.
Oh yeah. So I'll tell you what, years ago, it was really funny. We had this big pine tree out front, and we had some bad weather. Didn't really think too much about it. And we had some squirrels, they're always running the telephone line / power lines, right? lower ones are the telephone and cable. The higher ones are your power. And me and my daughter, at this time, I think it was my middle daughter, we were sitting there for whatever reason. We're just out on the front porch. Don't know why. And we saw this squirrel jump up to the top and just nosedived straight to the ground. Smack. And I like, what the hell? About 5 minutes later, we had a second. I was like, oh, there's power on the strand and it's energized. And they were jumping on the strand and getting electrocuted and falling to the ground. Still lived. They didn't die. But man, I'll tell you what, it was a slow crawl to the pine tree. And they walked over to them and they were just underneath there breathing like. Eventually they got up and left, but I was like, well, I'll tell you what, that woke them the hell up. It was entertaining for me. I was like, that's awesome. Look at them dive. So,
You got to play some Motley Crue "Kickstart My Heart" when
Yeah,
they do that.
right. I mean, jeez.
so Katie, are you guys working on any kind of new blends or anything out there that you talked about yet or not?
So we actually, right before the Bardstown Blitz, we picked a barrel over at NBC with Dusty. He had us help him with that, along with Hello Again Whiskey Friends.
Yeah.
And they actually gave us the barrel. So we had a friend pick it up, and we're going to age our Burundi in that barrel. So another barrel aged release will be probably around the holidays.
Oh, that's awesome.
And since we're doing the Burundi, we had a lot of people like the barrel aged. The folks that didn't care for it as much just said that it was kind of overwhelming, which you would expect, right? It sat in a barrel for a month, and then we roasted it, so it picked up a ton of barrel characteristics, ton of the whiskey characteristics.
Nice.
So we're gonna start doing like some of our blends that use Burundi to kind of cut it down. So,
hey Ben, if you're still in there, can you like drop the link for their coffee and stuff? Just so if anybody sees it, they want to get it and know how to get it.
Yeah. So that's kind of the next big project. We started doing coffee of the month, where we're trying to get a fair amount. I think we're ordering about 25 pounds of each single origin that we find, and then we're offering it at a reasonable price, trying to get it in more people's hands. So I think typically it's around $11 or $12 as most. So we're cutting our margins down on it to try to get it in people's hand.
Dude, that's super cheap for craft.
Yeah.
Coffee. That's unbelievably cheap.
So yeah, for the entire month, that's what we're I think this month it's our Peruvian Peru 4, and so for an 8-ounce bag, $11.50. So not bad.
Nice.
Yeah. But we definitely want to start working on more custom blends. We had a lot of fun with the Blitz blend. Try to come up with some blends that might go with y'all cigars. That would be something fun for us to do.
Yeah. No, I'm excited.
We're all in for that kind of experiment.
Yeah, because we definitely want that. Man, we were just talking about making sure that we do that cross-referencing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was talking with Chris earlier about that. Yeah. So, yeah, because we'd love to do that.
Because there's a lot of people that I know that that love having cigars and coffee in the morning. If you go onto Instagram first thing in the morning, there's people that are doing coffee and cigars every morning on Instagram.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want cigar blend coffee?
Right.
I mean, coffee is the number one, thing to pair with cigars.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
When I was down in Ybor, Corona Cigar Company, I was sitting out front, 7:00 at night, having a coffee drink out there, watching.
Oh, nice.
Watching the interesting fun of Ybor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Ethan and I are actually going over to Virginia. I think Veterans Day weekend. Toro Cigar Company is pairing with Honor and Ash, which is a veteran first responder cigar club that they do HERFs and all. And they're doing their first event. Toro is helping them do their first event that weekend. So we're gonna be over there for that. And I know
I just had an email back and forth today with them.
Oh, nice.
Did you? I talked to him the other day about
I had
some stuff.
I had an email. I had an email come in, so I responded to it.
Good.
Yeah, because I just talked to him about what we can do with them to help out, and gave him your email. So
awesome.
That worked.
Awesome.
So I responded. It's funny because I'm so used to everything going into like my Bourbon Battalion email, because that's the one I usually always gave out. But on the store website and all that stuff, it's actually my Battalion Cigars email. And I've had issues with that email. Chris knows about it. We've talked about it.
Yeah. I'm probably switching the host for that email.
Still did samples. I had Steve, when he first got here tonight, send me an email.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't got it yet, and it's been 4 hours.
Yeah, I'm gonna change the host on that.
I'm finding like my email is coming to me like days later.
That's not right.
When I do a respond and send something as a test, nobody's getting it. So I'm having to take it and then take their email address, go over to another account and email them. And so if you send something there and I'll get with you right away, it's not my fault. Yeah. I check it daily, but it doesn't update very often.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get that switched over to a new host. Same email address, will just be a different host.
Yeah.
I'll just cancel that service we're using right now. Switch it to the new one. There's no reason you're not getting it right away.
Yeah, because I was like, I was looking, there was nothing that I didn't look for a day or two, and I went in this morning, and I had like 15, and I was like, where in the hell those come from?
Yeah.
And although it showed it was new to me, I could look at it. It wasn't
the dates.
I'm like,
look at the dates,
and
you're like,
this
was 3 days ago.
Yeah, it wasn't. Which one of them was a really important email that came through. That's has a lot of good things with it that granted I was lucky enough to get in touch with them, but I would have liked to have had it more immediately.
Well, shown a prompt response, right?
Well, the crazy thing is I went and I originally put in a Battalion Cigars at Gmail just because it would be easy and fast, and Gmail shut it down.
Really?
Yeah. Gmail will not host anything cigars.
Nope.
Really?
Cigars, tobacco, zero.
And it was nothing more than just an email. And they shut it down. Send me a notification that you're not inside the blah, 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 that, we do not support blah, 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 and script it, gone.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's some of y'all's issues with the hosting service, like they're flagging the emails and they're delaying them on their end. Who knows?
I don't know.
Yeah. It's one of those fun learning points,
Always
it took a while with the credit card payment, processing in the shop. I mean, we're all squared away now. I mean, we're with one of the biggest, if not not the biggest, but one of the biggest banks in America, that we got it to work through them, and they're okay with it, which I was shocked.
Yeah, we're their test subject for.
We're their test subject. They literally called me afterwards, like a week later, and said, "Hey, we see some processing has went through. Are you having any questions or troubles? Is everything working?" I was like, "Yeah, no, everything's fine." They said, "Good. We wanted to know that it works fine because you're our first." And we're not talking like a little bank. We're talking like a big bank.
Like one of the banks,
The bank.
The bank.
Yeah,
and,
that's crazy.
Yeah, and they's like, we just never had anybody come through that way. So
yeah,
and I was like, well, and matter of fact, when I first did it, they said, the lady was like, "No, we don't do that," and kind of hung up on me. And then all of a sudden, I get this call, and I answer it, and she's like, "Well, I talked to my manager, and I guess we technically can. We have a way of doing it, but there's no way it's going to happen. But we'll go ahead and fill out the application." So I did. It all went through. And now
Imagine that.
and now they
Right.
follow up with me all the time. They're like, "Hey, is everything fine? It looks like everything's processing." Like, again, it's like, this is awesome. We've never got this to work this way. So,
Yeah.
hey, I'm all for it.
I mean, but you think about it. Think about what business they could have had, right? And there's possible business that they missed out on because
A lot,
everybody
because
was
you can't
Well, the
you
cigar
can't use
people that missed
PayPal, you
out on
can't
it
use
because the
Stripe, you can't use
price is
Square.
right. I mean, there's people out there paying a lot of money for credit card processing. I mean, in the cigar industry, it's expensive.
Oh
And-
yeah.
And a lot of them, they'll gouge you based on, they'll make you have a fee for MasterCard, a fee for Visa, a fee for, so you have multiple fees. Like one of
Yeah.
them I looked at, it was going to cost me between $1,500 and $2,000 a year just to have their service, not counting the processing. And when I got with these guys, I can use everybody. And there's no fee other than just the processing fee.
Yeah.
And there's no, like, I didn't have to have upfront money or nothing, and I'm like, look, God. So I just kind of, it was effort. It was a lot of effort, a lot of sleepless nights.
it was.
Oh,
I
for
was
sure.
stressed so hard because I was like, it just was a pain. But now it's all good. And, but so, yeah, that's what happens with that sometimes. So, but it's all good. Everything's working good. We're having no issues. We're getting reports, like some of the best
Awesome.
reporting. I mean,
Yeah, the reporting's awesome.
the reporting
Well,
is amazing.
I mean, if you think about it, like, and that's expected. You know what I mean? Like they already had all those platforms, and they already had that
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
set up.
Oh yeah.
It's
so
way
you're-
better than the other service we
Yeah,
used
you're
as far as
running
reporting goes.
through. Yeah, you're running through. Top A tier stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that just makes it, and that makes the downstream stuff that you've got to do, the reporting side of it, so much easier, to feed that through. And
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's the thing, right? With every
it
business,
all worked out.
if I would have been a storefront, easy peasy, right? No big deal. But because there's the online sales
Yeah.
is always the trick. But now that I have that squared away with what I have now through my local bank, which is, a national bank, if I did go storefront, it's just literally nothing more than just getting the
POS
POS
sales
system.
stuff.
Yeah, just a POS system. And when I checked into having that, it was a one-time fee.
Yeah.
And the processing was just going to be normal, and it wasn't very expensive. So,
What events do y'all have coming up? Do y'all have any more events at the local stores or anything like that? Like
I
y'all
don't
did?
I don't have anything right now. I haven't reached out to anybody though. I mean, there's one I've talked to a little bit, and they'd be interested, but they haven't really confirmed anything.
Okay.
It was just that now there's an opportunity with the latest stuff from what I was talked to about that sometime, don't know when,
Mhm.
there may be a possibility that this could turn into flying me somewhere to do an event. So, but
Oh, nice.
that's down the road, and that's far from anything we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I did talk to one of my local cigar stores, one of my newer ones. They're interested in down the road finding the time to do a whiskey cigar pairing event at their cigar lounge.
Awesome.
Just because I went through a little bit with one of the co-owners, and they were really excited about it. It's like didn't even know that was something that you could do, and I was like, yeah. And so I think there's plenty of opportunity for that kind of stuff.
Okay. Awesome.
I mean, it's hard. I mean, the economy is rough for everybody right now. I mean, everywhere you look on every platform, pretty much across the board, there's, you're not seeing as much as you were. But, time will tell. That's why you have to set your business up to the idea of that you can weather the storm, and
Exactly.
like I look back now, and Zach and Chris were along in this ride the whole time, and I said from day one I wanted to finance this. I did not want to go to a bank. I didn't want to go anywhere to finance anything.
To be beholden.
Just financed it
Right.
all myself. And then, and so that way, like, if no matter what happens, I don't owe. I don't have that. You're not struggling.
Right.
So.
Yeah, sounds very similar to like what we decided to do with the coffee stuff. We we do it for fun.
Yeah.
But like all the upfront costs, that's all us.
Right.
That's, again, don't want to be beholden to anybody.
No.
We just bought a storage building that it's 12 by 28. I say just.
Nice.
It was in July. And then for the last couple months, Ethan has been finishing out 12 by 10 of it for a specific dedicated coffee roasting space. So
Nice.
been in there
Very
for
cool.
about a month now. And so, but again, like we bought it, and then eventually,
Yeah.
we'll figure out how to pay ourselves rent for this space, right? Because
Mhm.
I don't want it in the company name. Like,
Yeah.
don't,
Everything's in your company name. Trust me.
yeah.
It all matters at tax time.
Oh yeah.
Why do you think I have a cigar lounge in my house?
Right.
Not only is it convenient, but it's economical.
It's a dedicated space.
It's a
Yeah.
dedicated space. So, you have to play the game, get yourself make sure you have a very good accountant that you can trust that works with you. And I think that's the thing that's been really fortunate for me is that I have that. I have a guy that works with me really, really good. Matter of fact, he just sent me an email that I need to go restructure some stuff because of some sales and stuff like that. And he said, hey, I think we're getting close to that point that we need to restructure some things. So probably do that before the end of the year.
Yeah. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
I think he wants me to do it like tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah. That happen tomorrow. Do I have to make an appointment with my lawyer and go through all that? And
Yeah, it's there's always something.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it never ends.
I'm excited because
But if you set it up right the first time, it's beneficial. All and you know what? It protects you and it protects the business. And yeah. So
Yeah.
And that's coming from an accountant. So
Yeah.
well, I want to make sure that that like what we want to do in relation to with like drifting drams and that stuff is how do we go out and grow, but grow each other? How do we help our friends that are doing it the right way too? And for us, and I was talking to Chris about it when we talked about that last night. It was just the idea. I was like, man, there's some things we can do, that is beneficial for not only us, but for, drifting drams and people we believe in that, that ties together. When I think of coffee, I think of coffee and cigars.
Oh, for sure.
well,
I know a lot of cigar people that are the same way. So if they have a place that they go to our shop and they see that there's a coffee affiliate that they can hit a link and go there and get stuff that we have paired for like our cigars that they can buy from you guys, then that's beneficial for you guys. It's good for our people, but it's good for our friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
Like we'd have to figure out how to navigate that, but that's that's all. That's easy, right?
Yeah,
It's a process.
I know that's. I've seen it before. Chris and I talked about it. I know he has ideas on it because he's been involved in this kind of stuff before.
No ideas.
We had at least one.
I'm still gonna say I'm not sold on corduroy just yet. I'm not. That's all.
You're not sold on the what?
There's a little sneak peeks, right? I'm just I don't know. I think it's the wrong color of corduroy. That's what I think it was.
It could have been. It could have been. It's just me playing around, man.
I know. No, but it was cool. It was cool. Like everything else looked fantastic. Looked great.
Damn corduroy hater.
Must be
It's
talking
not-
about mosquito pterodactyl.
No, I'm not talking about the mosquito dactyl.
The mosquito dactyl.
You know.
If you don't know, I'll tell you what. The other night I was with Zach. We were just doing a FaceTime. His bug zapper outside. Let me tell you, I thought there was an actual pterodactyl. That thing tried for a good solid like 5 minutes. I'm like, is that thing dead or what? What's going on?
Dude, that thing was on fire. It was like stinking.
God.
It was like,
Dude, it was forever.
I was like, that's a big one.
Yeah,
I was like,
it was huge. It was just like, and all I heard was like, and I was like,
yeah, it just kept zapping it over and over again. Finally, it's on fire, and it smells bad. And I'm like, well, hey man, you know what? Thanks to Raider Dave, I now have a logo. And I think it's freaking hilarious. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And it.
Did you say thanks to Raider Dave?
Yeah, it was Raider Dave's idea.
Oh.
Yeah. Me and Zach were talking one night, and
it was Dave's idea. I could not get this idea out of my head. I kept going back to this idea, and I was like, Chris, will you make me a logo with this idea? And he came up with it.
That's cool because I thought it came from the one time that we had that like talk. One time we talked about a shirt.
Yes, yeah. And Dave goes, yeah, you need one for Zach that is the mosquito with the hat on backwards, throwing some horns and flying around the bug zapper. So Chris interpreted all of that and made it come to life.
I can only imagine.
Oh, it's great. Go.
It's on his Instagram.
It's on his
It's on my Instagram.
His Instagram logo is this new. It's awesome.
It looks great. Like the background is basically the bug zapper, and he's freaking super long beak, mosquito, and it's awesome.
That'd be a lot of friction. That's a lot of friction there, buddy.
Ben.
You know what? Pack corduroy when you're out hiking, just in case.
Oh man. Smokey the Bear says Ben can't wear corduroy in the forest.
Have you guys done a coffee old fashioned?
We have not. We need to.
Dude, it's so good.
Okay.
It's so good.
We'll have to play around with that this weekend. We normally, by the end of the night, it's like coffee, maybe a dram of whiskey. And
this was really good. And I literally, this one, because I usually do it in like quart jars and let it sit, but I had to make one fast. And I did this one just with your espresso.
So just made a shot of espresso and then.
I did a shot of espresso. I did a 3-ounce pour of Sagamore rye rum cask.
Okay, yeah.
I did it. I think I did like a tablespoon, maybe just a dash more tablespoon of maple syrup.
You said 2 initially.
Yeah, I did. I just did a little.
I mean, so
in the jar. If I do the jar that holds the whole stuff,
then it's
that's
ounces.
2 tablespoons.
Yeah.
2 tablespoons. I know
Yeah,
exactly.
you're doing full-on ounces, but yeah, I get it.
Orange bitters, chocolate bitters, and sticky cherries with about a half teaspoon of sticky cherry juice.
Oh, nice.
And
that sounds wonderful.
Dude, the espresso on the back end, even though it wasn't like dry, it was actually I brewed it. It has that nice coffee.
You got me interested.
Dude, it's really good. I did it over ice and I shook it and all that stuff. Matter of fact, I'm out. I'm like, probably gonna have to leave and go make another one.
I'm wondering how it would go with like a Sagamore double oaked, right?
Yeah, I think you'd be fine. I usually find that for me, old fashions, my own personal preference, I'm usually in the rocks.
Yeah.
because the bourbons usually give me more. There's already a lot of sweet going on. I don't want more sweet.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's why like Sagamore Double Oaked would be it would be interesting, right? Like is it going to be too sweet? Because that rye does punch through it, right? You get a ton of spice. It drinks above its proof.
A little bit of coffee and whiskey, because the old fashioned, everything old fashioned hits the front, but the coffee hits the back on the finish. You notice it on the finish, and you're like, that's because the finish is what you care about with the stick,
right?
And so I ordered. It's funny that we've thought of this last night, but I had ordered my chocolate bitters and my the cherries that I get are certain ones, and they came in today.
Oh, nice.
And then I was like, hey, I'm just going to make a coffee old fashioned. So I just made an espresso old fashioned. Just like, you have an espresso martini, I have an espresso old fashioned.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I would.
It sounds better than the espresso martini, truthfully.
Espresso martini is really good. Me and the girls get them all the time because my daughters are all coffee crazy. So
it's always pinky out.
Well, yeah, it always
is. Up.
So I will definitely be hitting you up because my daughters, it'll be like Christmas stocking stuff.
Sounds good. Sure. Yeah.
Every one of them. The only one in the family that doesn't drink whiskey and coffee is my wife.
Does she drink either?
No.
Neither. Okay.
Yeah, she'll take that Crown Peach if you put it in her iced tea.
Okay, so yeah, some of the flavors. Now, my wife will drink, but she's more into. I will say though, her favorite thing right now is caramel vodka and apple cider. Dude, and I had it with her, and I'm telling you right now, that tastes like a fucking caramel apple. It was delicious. It was delicious. It's either she does that or she'll do Fireball with apple cider.
I used to getting ready right around this time. I would go and buy like a handlebar, a Jim Beam, and I'd grab mason jars, and I'd go fill up mason jars, and I'd shove vanilla beans, cut the vanilla bean and shove them in there. And then I would cut up some Granny Smith apples and then put them in there and then let that sit.
Oh, interesting.
For about a month and a half. And then when all the apple cider starts to come out, when they start putting the jugs apple cider right around, Thanksgiving and stuff. So I would take that bourbon mixture and I'd pour it into apple cider with a little bit of lemon juice, and everybody was like, it was like apple pie.
Okay.
It was like apple pie, but it was so good.
Hey Zach, if you want to throw yourself for a loop, right now, Liquid Death has a cider version of Liquid Death out, and it tastes like cider with a little hint of cinnamon. I picked up one of the 8-packs. It's one of their limited edition flavors. They're starting to do little one-off runs. I missed the one right before it. That was a double chocolate fudge Liquid Death. Don't know about that one, but I tried the cider. It's
not bad.
It's really good. It's for the season. I liked it. Stetson thought it was fruit punchy.
Fair enough.
He's my resident Liquid Death fan with me. Walks around with this can around the house. He's like, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just terrible. I just drink bottled water. I'll drink 7 or 8 of these a day. It's pretty much what I'm drinking all day.
We won't hold it against you. It's okay.
I mean, it's good, but it's good for you. At least I'm getting my water intake.
Yeah.
It sets me up well for nights like this.
definitely.
You know, it's not that rye is. It's just not my preference
What's that?
with the ton. And I've tried about 4 different ryes with it, and I'm just.
Dude, I really like the Green River barrel pick
Yeah.
that I have with it. Super good. I enjoyed this Traverse City rye with it. I've had a couple different ones. That New Riff rye that I have, because it's so chocolate forward, with a little bit of the mint in the background. Yeah. That one works well. There's other ones that really don't. I think you got to have that chocolate on the rye with it for it to really, really shine. And both of those have that. So
this is more of the probably going more towards that spearmint note. You know, for this one, that kind of herbally spearmint note. It's not that it was bad. I'll tell you what. I finished off a bottle of Kentucky Spirit last night, and I had smoked one. That was great. That was just wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite that I've had with it so far has been the Rye 3 rum finish cask strength. That was delicious with it, but it had such a signature classic rye note. But it did not have any mint notes to it at all. It was all just straight rye.
Yeah, and the more we talked about it, you know, like we were earlier, I really got to have the 4-Gate Andalusia key rye with it because that hits all the notes, you know, especially when you're talking the rum finish.
That's more like my wife's jam.
Yeah.
Bridget would like that.
Oh, that Crown Apple and cranberry?
Well, no, Steve, the gunny had on Instagram, he's like hot chocolate and peppermint schnapps.
Oh.
Okay.
I mean, that's a classic Christmas time thing, you know.
Yeah. I wonder how your Rebecca Creek Spanish Oak Double Oaked would go with your ton. Because it's so spicy and it's, you know, kind of like dessertish.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're saying is I need to do that.
I mean, I don't know how it would pair.
You out, buddy.
I don't know how it would pair. I mean, we have a fair amount of those because every time we go to Houston and we can find one, it's like, yes, we're gonna buy more.
Well, I'm gonna light a ton right now.
Well, I mean,
about time since
well,
you know this is a ton stream.
Well, you know, I was finishing a Valor from the different one.
Poser.
I know. So, Katie, did you now? Do you do cigars at all?
I'll take a puff off of Ethan's occasionally. I don't particularly. I've tried them. Not my cup of tea, but that was like 10 years ago. That was a long time ago. I enjoy the smell of them.
Well, I can tell you, I would say this, right? And I say this generally from an idea of a person that, you know, does most of the times when I do events, they're for people that are wanting to do like understanding more about taste profiles and acclimating and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The women that I have had and men that like the smell of a cigar.
Zach, he's teeing it up again.
Can eventually find their way into it once they understand how to find the notes, not just taste like smoke and ashtray.
Right.
That's also one of the things about the ton and the Valor is these blends don't go ashy on your palate like a lot of other cigars do.
Not at all.
No.
They're clean, very clean.
You know, saying that's what a lot of people. I don't want to wake up. You know, it's like, well, that's a thing with the blend, and these blends do not go ashy. So
that's for sure. They don't.
Well, and it's like, you know, I mean, Ethan smokes a fair amount of cigars and has gotten back into it recently, more and more. And you know, when he smokes them or when he lets me smell them before he lights them up, it's like you can pick out the flavor, you know, the smells and the flavor notes and things that you would think might pair with it as far as like coffee just on smell. And then that's where I'm like, hey, try this. Like, let him.
Katie, have you ever taken a cold draw?
No.
Where basically the tip is just cut and it's not lit, and basically you just pull air through the cigar?
I'll have to try that with Ethan's.
Yeah. Oh, you can pick up all the flavor profiles that way.
If you're enjoying what you're smelling, you'll get it on the palate as well.
Well, and for me, it's kind of like a puzzle, right? It's like, how do you find something that pairs well with a cigar, whether it be whiskey, whether it be coffee, whether it be another spirit, and like obviously the different wrappers. From what Ethan, from what I've learned with Ethan, it's like different wrappers, different flavors, different things won't pair well with a lot. You have to try to find something that complements it.
One of the things that you run into, right? And I think that you might be really good at this, just because, you have a good sensory, you have good nose, you're used to doing it with coffee, you've done it with whiskey.
Right.
In that, I think that you find once you do your cigar right, because the thought is you always do your cigar first, because you're not going to throw away a cigar. I can always change my pour.
Right.
But what you do notice is what will wash it out. You can almost get a good gist right away of like what you think will just wash it away. And you don't want to do that. You want to find what will come up alongside it and be better, and then you'll be surprised. There'll be times you'll think, oh, this will be really good. And then you'll take a drink and either the cigar will wipe out the whiskey or the whiskey will wipe out the cigar. You're like, oh, I was so wrong on that. And
well, I mean,
that was plenty of times.
That was what we had so much trouble with the Valor finding a bourbon. You know what I mean? And we were scratching our heads. Everything we threw at it, nothing stuck. Until it's kind of like, well, want to try an ECBP? Let's do it, because we all got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what about those sticky icky cherries? Would they stick?
Well, for a minute or two. But I mean, it took us. I mean, how many bourbons did we go through? We went through a shit ton, and finally we came up with, it was like, okay, let's try it. It was like, ding, 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 like everything went off. Everybody was like, and the thing was we didn't all have the same, we all didn't have the same batch either,
you guys had barrel picks, and I had the old A119.
Well, I think I pulled it like 920 C920.
Yeah.
So I mean, but we were similar proof range,
Katie, you may have hit that on the head.
Yeah.
That is a totally different beast. That made the ton taste totally different.
So now I need to get some Rebecca Creek Spanish
I'm telling you what.
So what do I have to go look for now?
That right there is
that Rebecca Creek Spanish oak.
So far, that's the best thing I've had with the ton.
It's like a carrot cake, like dessert. Best way, like the one we have, it's like cream cheese frosting. The rye spice comes through on it. So you get that sweetness.
Well,
but it's subtle.
Katie, is that a single barrel then?
I'm pretty sure they're all single barrels.
Okay, because one I had one when it first came out. I didn't get those awesome notes. Like, it was really good, but I didn't get that. And I'm sitting here going, like, you got me going. Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
What was that? Yeah. Was that a total wine or was that at Specs?
So we've gotten them from Specs. Before there was so Specs had them.
Find them, Zach.
You want me to pour it?
Yeah. The last time we were there, or the last time I was in Houston, was July, and there's a store up at 45 and Rayford. Roughly.
Yeah. The Montgomery County, the big Montgomery County store. So
the big Montgomery. The Scotch specs.
Do you realize
basically.
you were like 25 minutes from me? Like seriously, like it's nothing to.
So my mom lives like Lowetta and 45,
No,
over in Middle Creek Village.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Not far from like.
I'm 29, 20, and 99.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
not, yeah.
It's not far, not at
Yeah.
all.
I mean, we go to the Kroger that's up on Spring Stubner and 99.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then I have family that lives up in the Woodlands, and then over in Tomball, over in Magnolia as well. So
yeah, I get
yeah,
it.
Right
next
in
time we're in
Zach's neck
town.
of the
Next
woods.
yeah,
Right
next
in
time we're in
Zach's neck
town,
of the
we'll
woods.
have to hit you up.
Absolutely. I'd love to.
Yeah.
Okay. So you found it that one. Okay, listen, I'm downtown 2 days a week, so I go to Smith
go to
Street store.
Well, there's
yeah.
the first, Bobby.
I know, right? I've never seen that happen.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just got disconnected from Instagram after 1 hour.
Oh,
interesting.
really?
Yeah, that's the first time that's ever happened with us with Instagram.
Well, it's the second time it's happened when I've been linked between the two.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Which sucks
Interesting.
because there was quite a few people over there that were talking as well because I was following up with all of it.
Yeah.
But
Weird.
that's an ongoing. Well, that's a StreamYard thing, right? Instagram and YouTube, have issues. YouTube's fine, but Instagram, they still are dealing with some of that kind of side of it.
Yeah.
And it says that when you do it, it says, this is an issue that's still being worked on, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so it's a Rebecca Creek Spanish oak.
Yeah.
It's a red label, Spanish oak, double oak, or double barrel, I think is what it'll say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now don't be fooled because Scott and Jason picked, I think, the last single barrel from them of that. And they took the last 3 barrels and blended it to 80 proof. So don't be fooled by that one because I think it looks very similar. So just pay attention to the little writing on the label.
No 80 proofer. You want the bangers.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I've also found it at the specs that's at Lowetta and 45 over by like
this
Bombshells.
This is 128 proof.
Damn.
Yeah, there's that little.
It does not drink
right
like
there
128
on the west side of.
You think that drinks hot, Steve?
Interesting. I mean, I remember taking a tour of Rebecca Creek before they even they were barely starting to distill their own stuff, and it was mostly it was just whiskey, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't even. You couldn't even call it bourbon yet,
No.
Yeah, and so the Spanish oak is all MGP. It's the 21% rye mash bill. So they ran out of that stuff, obviously. Hopefully they can find more, get more eventually, because they really did do something right with those bottles.
All right, I will have to try to find that. It's just that's not something I ever go looking for.
It's like a $55 bottle, $60. It's really not bad.
I mean, I drank plenty of Rebecca Creek back in the day. I thought it was decent, but yeah, it's good to hear that they're doing cool stuff. I'm proud of them. Because I went and toured it, and I was like, oh, so you guys are putting that? Oh, I didn't even understand. I was like, oh.
Well, Zach, they just recently, earlier this year, they went fast. They released a bunch of separate single barrels that were 16-year MGP.
They're pretty killer.
Yeah,
dude,
I
those
remember
things went batshit crazy on secondary.
Yeah, I mean they weren't cheap to begin with, but
no, but they were like $4 on secondary.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I can
And
go. I
they
can
and
go
they
10.
range from like 104 proof up to like 134, I think.
Hmm.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a
And for a
huge
16
range.
year at 130, 34, 131, somewhere in that, it's insane.
It's a tight barrel, honestly.
Definitely.
Did they have to? I wonder if they had to add water back to those barrels to get it to go 16 years in Texas.
I don't know if it went all 16
I
years
thought
in
all their
Oh.
stuff
Texas.
stored
That's
indoors though. In
I'm
climate
pretty
control,
sure it
isn't it?
is.
I think
I'm
they're
pretty sure.
climate controlled, aren't they, Zach?
Is
You've
it?
been there.
Dude, this was so long ago. Like,
Yeah. I believe they are not an outdoor aging facility. It's climate controlled.
okay.
So,
Which makes a lot of difference. If you're inside and it's climate controlled year round, aging's way different.
Oh, of course.
For
Right.
Texas,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, I know for a fact that Balcones does. You know, they have to, like, they're watching it. You know, anytime it starts to really creep high, you know, because it just pulls too many tannins out of the barrel. You know, when it gets up there and stays up there. When it
Yeah.
mhm.
stays too low, you just rob all the sugars too quick. You know.
Right.
So, you know, that's what they say. You know, they're constantly having to add, you know, constantly taking the ABV of those barrels to see where they are.
Yeah.
It's just wild that, you know, you talk about climate, you know, and what it takes, you know, to maintain some of these things for them to not become so oaky that, you know, it's just undrinkable. You know, it's also why, you know, they went to a non-standard barrel size. They, you know, it's a larger than a standard barrel.
Yeah, they're in the 60s, aren't they?
I think so.
Still, Austin for sure is experimenting with, I think, 65-gallon barrels.
Mm-hmm.
They found that they had to, you know, like it gave them less, you know, contact with the wood. And here in Texas, it gets enough contact with the wood. That's not a problem, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I hate to run on you guys. This was
no,
you're
fun,
good.
but
glad
we
you
should
got
probably
we understand.
get back to Ethan and see what he's up to. And
Yeah.
but yeah,
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you, Katie. We appreciate it.
Yeah, let me know when y'all are doing the next time. Bobby, I'll shoot you a message this weekend if y'all want to hop on, smoke a cigar. I know Ethan would enjoy that a lot.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, no, I'm down. I'm definitely
Awesome.
down.
Yeah, we'll shoot you a message probably tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Night,
Awesome.
you guys.
Later.
Y'all have a good one.
What's up, Jigsy?
Awesome, man. I mean, at least Jigs is spelling my name right now. You know.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's a thing. It's a process, right? It's the small things in life, man. It's the small things, dude.
All the small things.
Oh.
No, she hit I mean, quite honestly, that Rebecca Creek is really good with that. Really good.
That's awesome. I gotta go grab another one. So I will be right back.
After these messages, Zach will be right back. Sorry, it was too easy, you know.
No, it was nice. It was very pleasing to my ears.
I'll try to be the comedy in our show.
Well, I will say, you know, that Spanish oak, I don't know what it is about it, but it brings out, you know, like normally we talk about it, how it has that really like that briny, salty leather note.
Mm-hmm.
It was more of like horse saddle.
Ooh.
It was more horse saddle and grainy.
Okay.
And different profile at all, but the finish is for.
That's a good thing, man.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Yeah. I'm having some ECBP with it right now, just for something different. I've never had ECBP with it. It's good.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be bad with a lot of things. There are a lot of things that can be fine with.
No, I had to switch off the coffee. I'm gonna be honest. From the cigar and having this espresso blend that I fresh ground and
You feel like you gotta run a couple laps around the yard?
Oh, dude, I was getting the jits. I was sitting here like,
dude, they could funnel that shit in me and it wouldn't matter.
Well, I didn't eat dinner, so
well, yeah, I guess if you didn't eat dinner, that would
I did not eat dinner. I have not ate since 10 this morning, so I was getting the jits.
Well, it's better the jits than the others.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that you know, I don't know. It's amazing how certain whiskeys can come up alongside a cigar. And I don't want to say that it necessarily made it better. It just gave it a completely different profile. That was
it changes the experience. And I think that's what's got to be talked about. Like
John the Gunny says the same thing, that if he has anything after 5 p.m., he's done. And I know people like that. I'm just not one of them.
Yeah, dude, I'll be able to go to bed no problem. I just got jittery because I haven't ate.
And great when I was going to college.
It got me going.
Yeah.
During your master's program, fine. Gunny was like, during my master's program, it was good to go after that. But yeah, I know. I mean, I drink coffee in the morning, but I don't drink coffee in the morning because I need it to pick me up. I wake up ready to go, but I use it as a suppressant. Like, I love the taste of it, and it doesn't, it makes me not hungry. So yeah. I eat my breakfast later if I have coffee first.
Well,
yeah.
It was my first caffeine of the day. Dealing with the sinus stuff this morning, my first 30 minutes are clearing the sinuses. I did not want caffeine to add to that today.
Yeah.
Ben. Oh, that was fun, man. I didn't realize that. Okay, I'll look out for that freaking Rebecca Creek bottle for you guys. Didn't realize
it's actually really good. Now, that isn't my first time having it. It was open. I've had it. It's delicious.
Well, didn't realize that I needed to be looking out for that for you guys. So,
well, I forgot about it because,
Zach, I'm gonna be honest. I forget all the time. I know you're in Houston, but I forget about it when the Prideful Goat has drops. I forget about it with the Rebecca Creek and stuff. I don't think about it.
Listen, for a rye, you know what? I like the Prideful Goat profile.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Like I was saying earlier, dude, I'm curious about that 12-year they're going to drop. What's the price point going to be? What's it going to be?
Well,
I'm curious.
One of the guys that helped start it actually got bought out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what you smoking on, Gunny?
He is.
Yeah, I know. Randall was buying people out.
Well, Chris wanted out. Truthfully, like he went on and talked about it. He wasn't. It wasn't like he's like, dude, I got too much going on. Like I had too many sticks in the fire. You know what I mean? And he was like, if they want to keep it going, listen, just give me my money back, and
Yeah. I can attest to that.
Yeah,
I've definitely, stoked fires in 98 directions, and it is very freeing to scale back.
To let some of that shit go. You're not wrong, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm
excited to see what this last quarter of the year is going to bring. Because there's
Yeah.
been some new things come up, some new things pop up. So I think there's new opportunities. I think 2025 is going to be a great year from as far as what we're concerned.
Absolutely.
This was, the inaugural year. This is the first, and it's gone fine. I'm not upset with anything.
No, not at all. Not at all. We've been doing great.
We're having movement every day.
Yeah. We've done more than we expected to do already this year.
Yeah.
Honestly, when we first talked about it, which is impressive. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, my baseball guys are absolutely enjoying the sticks. There's been great comments flowing as guys have got them and been smoking them. The
Which
second
was
wave of guys started to get theirs.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was a big part of it.
Started to get theirs last night or yesterday, and we're posting on it. And as soon as they did, I had a couple more guys hit me up and be like, I don't want to bug you. Do you know when I'm going to get mine? So I had to look. I'm like, well, everything for the second wave was supposed to be there today and tomorrow. So I looked it up and I told him, I'm like, yep, yours says tomorrow by 5. And he's like, yes. He's like, perfect for the weekend. I'm amped. So
yeah.
But that was the long run, man, because that dude's up in Somonish, I think that's how you say it, Somonish, Washington. Like,
oh yeah, up there.
He actually, spends his off season, so that'll tell you, he might still be playing. He spends his off season working at a winery because he is as far as you can get in the wine world.
It's a passion.
Oh, dude.
Right?
Dude, it's his fun thing. He did it while he was in the minor leagues, and he went and got fully certified as a winemaker and everything else, and he works at a winery in the off seasons. We're talking a Major League Baseball player that is working out in the fields and blending, mashing, doing everything with wine. That's his off season,
It's a thing that takes his mind off of fucking baseball.
100%, man.
It's his disconnect,
Mm-hmm.
Just, I get it.
And like he said, he's like, if I wasn't doing something cool like this, he goes, I would get my workouts in and then I would sit at home and have nothing to do all day. He's like, and I'm not a person that can just sit around all day and do that. So I want to be active doing something. So, which is awesome. 10 year, almost 10 years. I think next year will be 10 years in the league for the man. In the show. So
I mean, that's impressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and every off season he has worked at the winery.
It's probably his probably one of the reasons, because he comes back refreshed.
Oh, 100%.
He comes back ready to play ball.
Yeah.
He's not had to. He's been able to disconnect from it and focus on something else. That way when he comes back, it's got his full attention.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Like you said, other guys are into golf and things like that, and they go do that every day. He's like, that's not my jam. He's like, I like getting dirty still. I like having hands on things and doing stuff. So
I get it, man. There's something to be said when you create something with your own hands. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter if you're doing a small project around the house or when you somebody looks at you and they go, well, how did you know what to do? I was like, I watched some YouTube videos.
Right. I'll give you a crazy example that isn't baseball.
My dryer quit working. Hey, dude, you know what? I spent $50. I bought the fucking heating element. I replaced the damn thing.
Yeah.
I saved myself $400.
Hell yeah. But I'll give you a crazy example of guys who, get after it and were constantly after it. If you remember way back when, I'm going way back when, but Vinny Johnson that played for the Pistons, And for the Spurs, way back in the day, the microwave, you know, that's the guy who made like 10 million in his career. That dude's worth almost $1 billion now.
Wow.
He had a construction company in Detroit that went under, and then he started a supply company for GM. And he has multiple facilities across the country now and employs 11,000 workers across the country as the number one supply factory for parts for GM. And his company does $3 billion a year in business.
That's a lot of hundred thousands.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you think about that. You think about what that guy did. He played 14 years in the NBA. And you look at what he's made in the last 30 years after he retired. It's like, whoa.
I mean,
well, yeah, John Krantz is hitting it right now, you know. Dude from the Bucks, 600 mil in Wendy's franchises,
and just bought one and kept going and got
but this is the crazy thing. All we ever hear about athletes is the tragic lost all your money stories. You don't hear about the dudes who invested and did it right.
Well, you know what? Why don't we hear more about that? Because to me, that would put the right kind of ideas into these, you know, some of these kids' heads and goes, listen, if I can go do this for 5-6 years and I got like seed money, now I can go start X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can go off into the future, you know, and hell, maybe, you know what, maybe that behooves some of these kids to actually take school seriously when they get there, you know. It's not just, hey, listen, it's just a freaking scholarship so I can play basketball and get to the NBA, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I can actually learn something and then go play and then be able to fall back on, you know.
Dude, there are so many success stories that I know of between baseball and basketball.
I mean,
but you never hear about those guys doing those things that they're doing.
I mean, I still think this is one of the funniest stories I ever heard about Shaquille O'Neal. When he got out and he wanted to get his master's. So he called up University of Phoenix and he's like, I don't want to do an online class. I want to have it in person. And they're like, well, we you know, he goes, hold on. How many people do I need to have an in-person class?
Yeah.
They go like 15 or 16, right?
Yeah.
So he goes and finds 15, 16 of his buddies, pays for all of their freaking master's education. And they all get a master's together.
Yeah. But they don't talk about that.
Isn't that crazy?
It is. It is, man.
Like
there's a lot of people doing a lot of great things, man.
And
there really are. But we just hear the bad stories or the failures.
Well, I think a lot of them get into the league and can't say no to family. You know?
Yeah.
And they, you know.
Well, I mean, a bad one baseball wise that ended up as a positive was Ryan Howard that played for the Phillies.
Yeah.
You know, all-star, did great things. Had his family, had them all working for him. His mom and dad and his brother were stealing from him. And he ended up cutting them all off and took what he had left. And he started investing in technology companies that deal with baseball and kinesiology and things like that. And dude, he's doing wonderful. But like he said, the hardest thing he ever had to do was cut off his family and disassociate because he never thought his own family would steal from him like that. Like he's like, I was paying them fat salaries and gave them all money and they still took more.
And they still wanted more. It was greed.
Yeah.
Sheer greed. Sucks, man. It sucks. Well, it was
What's
there's
up,
that
Stacy?
there's that story floating around about like uh Jay-Z's cousin or whatever asked him for like, what was it, like $4,800 or something, you know? And then I saw this guy comment. He goes, "Well, let me put this in perspective. That guy asking Jay-Z for $4,800 was like a bum on the corner asking a dude who makes 50 grand a year for a dime."
Yeah.
But you know what? It's the principle of the matter. Once you ask me for one, you're going to ask me for another, and you're going to ask me for another, and you're going to ask me for another. There's a never-ending cycle.
Yeah, there is.
It's sad, but God, man, it's true. You know. Who is it? It's Slade Cleaves. He's a Canadian kind of like Americana folk singer, kind of new wave-ish country guy. You know, he's got a song called "Put the Shovel Down."
Okay.
It's all about you get yourself into these things, and the hardest thing you can do is to just put the shovel down and stop doing all the things that were, causing you to sit there and dig. You know.
Dude, I can vouch for that. You know, like I've always been the chaos guy. My shit and way too much shit. Constantly stressed out doing stuff, and it's hard to stop some of it because I was like, I'm gonna be losing out. I'm gonna screw my family if I'm not doing all these things. You know what? Now my family gets my time. I'm making just as much, doing less, and I have more time, peace of mind, happy all the time, not angry, not stressed, not snappy. And that's the truth, man. Putting the shovel down, you just don't know. You think you gotta go. I mean, that's how I was always taught and tuned to be. Man, it's nice to just do a couple things instead of 30 different things.
I'm not gonna lie, man. You know, when I took the Chevron gig and I was like, okay, here's what you do, and I was like, well, what do I do the other times? And they're like, you don't. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
The peace of mind of, listen, these are going to be my busy times, and then I got all this other time to myself.
Yeah. I mean, me with the publishing company, I mean, I explained this to my mom the other day. You know, one of the things that always resonated with me was listening to Pat Murphy talk about this. And this is when he was a coach at Arizona State. Now he's the head coach of the Brewers. He said when he decided as a single dad to stop dropping off his son at daycare every morning and let them take him to school and stuff, and he stepped back and started his day a little later, that he got to spend that time with his kid and be completely unplugged, no phones, no iPads, no TV, no nothing, but those little half hours every day were the greatest times ever, and I remember that speech and I thought about it, and the last 2 years I passed up hours of work and became a contractor instead of an hourly employee, so I could do that every day and take the kids to school and leave when I wanted to pick them up after school so I could talk to them about their day. What did you do today? How was your day? What's going on? And have those little conversations. And, to back it up and say it means something to the kids, when they had to write their little write-ups, the boys wrote it on their thing, what's one thing about your dad that, you enjoy the most. They are in separate classes and they both wrote the same thing on there, is our dad asks us every day after school when he picks us up, how was our day? And when I read that, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing, man.
Hell yeah, you are.
Those 2 hours of work, which I make up later in the day, totally worth missing at those times to make them up later because they get all that attention.
Absolutely.
And it shows, with them saying that. But like listening to him talk about that and spend that time with his son resonated with me big time. I'm like, I need to do that. I need to be there.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, that's the best thing in the world. When you feel like you're not doing enough, right? When you feel like you're not doing enough, and those kiddos walk up to you and they go, you know what? You're the best dad.
Yeah.
Dude, you're like, here I am thinking I'm like not doing enough.
Right. Oh, dude, I feel like that all the time.
And you're like,
but for them to tell other people, not me, they're telling their teachers and other people that, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is cool. They're telling everybody else this, not just me. So that's when I know I'm really winning, when they want to tell other people about it instead of me.
I forgot. I haven't told you this yet, Chris. Anson walked up to me this week. He goes, Dad, how old do I have to be to get in a circle pit? Dude, I about died, man. I was like, well, you gotta be much older, dude. You're gonna, you gotta have to be able to take care of yourself. Like,
that's a prideful moment for Metal Dad.
Oh, dude. I was.
How old do I have to be to get in the pit, Dad?
Oh God, I mean, listen, the girls just want to stand on the outside of it. At least, Zoe. We were going to a ton of concerts before COVID, right? And and her, she was this little tiny thing, and now she's freaking, she hit that high school growth spurt, you know what I mean? And just boom, she's a force. But we went to that show, 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, or a week and a half ago. And, she was on the edge of it, and she's just shoving people back, I was like, all right, dude, she's ready.
Hell yeah, dude.
No, listen, he wants to go see a death metal show. He doesn't want to go see Pantera.
Shit. He wants to go all in.
Listen. I will tell you this though. That the band that I sent you, War Lung.
Yeah.
Dude, if you haven't freaking listened to that whole album yet,
I haven't got through the whole album yet. No.
Dude, I'm telling you, it is freaking awesome. And that's like, dude, he's like, Dad, can you play Vulture's Paradise? Can you play Vulture's Paradise? I want to hear Vulture's Paradise, Dad. I'm like, buddy, all right. I was like, but after that, we're gonna put it on shuffle, and we're gonna listen to some other albums too, all right? Because
yeah,
I can't listen to one song. You're gonna ruin it for me. We'll get him into Pantera later. It'll be one of those discovery things like middle school, That's right now it's so funny. He was sitting at the dinner table. He was sitting at the dinner table. And he starts what's the fuck? He starts singing the chorus from "Are We Alone" from Dinosaur Jr. I'm like, name another 6-year-old that freaking knows about Dinosaur Jr. I was like, that kid, and he loves it. He knows. I'm like, dude, that is that's the coolest experience,
Hell yeah.
But the little kids soak up their parents, right? They soak up.
Totally. Listen,
because my oldest daughter got in. I wouldn't say she got in trouble, but she was in early elementary, and I forget the subject that they were teaching. But my oldest daughter made mention to the teacher. She's like, I don't understand why we're not learning more about,
Be right back.
Funny story. She was like, I don't know why haven't we learned about how important our heritage is and our history is? I mean, why don't everybody know about Ira Hayes, which was an American Indian who raised the flag at Iwo Jima? I said, he's like, why don't we know? Why aren't you teaching this? This is important to the American heritage.
Old Ira Hayes.
And she's like breaking this down. And so
from the song.
Well, not just the song, just the family. I mean, we talk about Iwo Jima, we talk about military and Marine Corps traditions, and so you had the song, but also the history, right, and all that kind of stuff, and who he was, and he went against his tribe, and to defend this country,
and he served, yeah.
Because they were outraged that he was leaving the tribe to serve a nation that basically ran the Indians off their land, and he's like, but this is what land we have, we got to defend our nation. And so, there was a whole story behind it, not just one thing.
No.
She was like, and that's what she was adamant about. She's like, why don't we know about this? Why aren't we taught this? Like, you're talking about true American, and we got a call from the teacher, and the teacher's like, who's Ira Hayes? And we're like, you don't know? So,
how the fuck do you not know?
Yeah. So we were kind of like, but it's not taught, it's not in the curriculum, it's not there. But the bummer part, so like it was just a reference to the idea that the kids pick up on things
100%.
that they're used to their parents, right?
100%, man. And you and I talked about this the other night. Each of our kids didn't have the same parents because we weren't the same parent at that time, right? Right. We were a different. We were.
Parenting is an evolution, right? You're evolving and learning as you go.
But to see, their evolutions, and it's funny because I probably listen to more eclectic stuff now. And with Madison, I was, once she found out about Rush, she found Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
There's a I think they're Swedish, or they may be Norwegian, but there's like a symphonic metal band called Nightwish, and one of the ladies was an actual basically opera singer. Like, she had that kind of range. And I said, Maddie, I think you'll like this. And all of a sudden she just, so Maddie had all this, if and there at the time she was about 10, I was like one of the proudest things. I was like, because if you asked her, she goes, you asked her, hey Madison, what is your favorite Pink Floyd album? Like, there's expectations there, you know what I mean? Her answer was Animals.
Yeah.
That's a really deep album, you know what I mean? Like, that's
you could ask my son, what was your favorite historical battle?
Yeah.
Why? And he could tell you, because my family, music was a huge part of my family, but a bigger part was the lineage. Like, everybody knows, like, I'm a Marine, my brother's a Marine, my cousins are Marines, my uncles are Marines. You have this military tradition. And we talked a lot about American, how America came to be, wars we fought in, pros and cons, and all that kind of stuff, military history. And I can remember my son in high school was going through world history, and they were talking about the Battle of the Bulge.
Yeah.
And my son said, he said, well, the Battle of the Bulge was not really the name of the battle. The battle was actually Bastogne. And the guy teaching it was like, no, it's called the Battle of Bulge. He said, no, it's Battle of Bastogne. You need to look it up because you're wrong. And the guy got really mad at him. And so Reichel looked it up for him and said, well, here. They called it the Battle of the Bulge. It was actually the Battle of Bastogne. And, but, I mean, that was one of those things that we sat there and looked at, because I wanted my kids to have American pride, that was an important part, to have a proud thought of like, what did our grandparents and great grandparents they go through so that we had what we have. Because if someone says, well, that was overseas, well, that's because we didn't want it here. You have to do that to, it's no different than going somewhere and flexing just to make sure it doesn't come to your home front.
It's like the movie Glory.
Yeah.
The blacks went to battle for certain death.
Yeah.
They did because they wanted to die as soldiers.
That's right. Yeah. So we did we wanted the kids to have that really, I wanted them to have the thought process of what it meant to be proud to be, an American. And so that's why, my kids mostly, like Bright could tell you about every single battle of everything. And he would call people out right and left. It's like,
No,
so
you're wrong.
I think that's the thing that's such an important thing, is that I think when our kids latch on to the things that are important to us and they find it to be something they find worthy, then there's a respect there that's an unmentioned respect. They respect it because it was their parent.
But you know what? It's something we get to share with them. And it's one of those things, when you were sitting there and going over and talking with, and they the way that they remember that stuff shows you that they appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They appreciated the time.
Individually, we're nobody, but together, we're significant.
Oh, definitely.
We're part of something bigger.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, that's just it. And anybody, doesn't matter who you are, what race you are, what gender you are, anything, no matter what, every individual wants to be part of something,
Something bigger.
And that's just it. That's the way we're wired as human beings. You want to be part of something. Not everybody wants to be part of the same thing, but everyone wants to be part of something. There aren't a lot of people out there that just want to do this world 100% alone with no outside influence or being part of something or believing in something. Everybody has their, you can call it core values or whatever you want to call it, but everybody wants to be part of something, no matter what it is. And that's what resonates, and that's what drives them to get out of bed. That's what drives them to function daily, And unfortunately, if you lose that, that's when you see a lot of people go downhill, when they don't have something they believe in or want to be part of, and they put themselves away from the pack, or their pack, we should say, not the pack, but a pack of some sort. That's what happens. I mean, and it's no different in the animal kingdom if you really look at it. There aren't very many individuals in the animal kingdom that make it on their own. They're all part of something until they're not.
For the idea of a really, really good cigar and coffee. I want to have that time in the morning where I focus on, me, and that makes me.
Yeah.
And people think like, why do you have to do that every day? Well, because you have to allocate time in your everyday for yourself.
Well, it's a grounding.
I watched this thing today that I thought was so amazing, right? And there was this guy that went to a counselor. And the counselor had said, you're pretty put together. everything's, why are you here? And he's like, well, I'm really good at being a father. I'm really good at being a husband. I'm really good at being a provider. I'm really good at being a friend. I want to be great at it. And she said, well, the problem isn't how are you being good as a husband, how to be a good father, how to be a good provider, how to be a good friend. It's like, how are you being good to yourself? Like, what are you doing for yourself? It's like, if you're not taking your time to put your effort into yourself, you'll never be the greatest thing you can be for anybody else because you haven't taken the time to develop yourself. And the guy just was big-eyed and said that was the switch moment where the light turned on and realized I had a whole entire life for everybody, but nothing for myself. And you have to take that time. Like I make sure that I carve out time every day. Now granted, that doesn't mean that, in my devotional time or whatever, it isn't, there's other things, but I also take time for me. And, I know Zach and Chris probably know this. Chris definitely knows this. I do. I take time for me. Trust me. I take plenty of time for me. I have my things that are my, and my wife understands that. She understands that I'm going to take this time. I'm going to do this because it's my decompressed time. It's just time for me. And the best thing I can do for myself is just focus back on myself. What am I doing?
Well, yeah, we talked about that yesterday.
Yeah.
I've had the kids who have been sick. We got the sinus bug that's went through the house, but they had Friday off school, they had Monday off school. They were sick on the Wednesday before. Stetson's been home all week sick. I don't have that morning time that I had after I dropped him off every day, where I have that half hour to an hour before I get into my work and do my thing. And that throws things off. And then at night, they haven't felt good. So I've been doing all that, So last night, talking to Bobby for a couple hours, great. Getting out here, doing that, great. Because I didn't have my mornings and stuff.
Yeah.
I just need those moments. And when I'm done here, I'll go do my normal decompression thing before I go to bed.
I don't know how many people know this, but I think it's a really good thing to say. Like, we do a lot of individual FaceTime. Like, we spend time on FaceTime together where our talks aren't necessarily about anything other than just life.
Yeah.
But like Zach and I did it the other day. Chris and I did it the other day. And it was literally, we didn't talk really anything about anything other than just life.
No.
Sometimes,
it's a nice decompression. You can talk about nice things you're not going to talk to everybody about.
Listen. Some people need to go talk to a therapist because that's where they feel safe. We are fortunate enough, that I don't need to go talk to those people because I have you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
I can have those talks with you.
And like Zach, you go to an office every once in a while, so you have interaction there. Me and Bobby right now, we both work from home.
100%. It's zero contact.
If I didn't have people to bounce stuff off of and talk to, and I have a couple people that are in the chat here or lurking that I talk to all the time, once, twice a week, it makes a big difference, man. It does. Those are my people, because I've always been in that locker room atmosphere and had my people, I had my time away, but I had my people I could go talk to about like-minded things and life and everything else. And I know it stays with them and it doesn't go outside that circle. And switching over to just back working from home, I'm beyond thankful that I have my small circle that I can do that with. I'm not talking to my mom and dad about all that stuff. I'm not talking to my neighbor about that stuff. I talk to them, but sometimes I just want to shoot the shit about some music. I want to shoot shit about the kids. I want to shoot the shit about, I'm frustrated about this little shit or that is meaningless. But it's like you said, it's a grounding moment.
What did Joey Diaz say? Give me 2 or 3 real motherfuckers and we can take over the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's always stuck with me. He's like, dude, I don't need a lot of people. Just give me 2 or 3 real motherfuckers and we'll take over the whole world.
Well, I think, man? I think especially, from the guys from a male perspective, right? you're limited. You're very limited who you can talk to. Like I remember watching this one lady that did all this counseling and all this stuff for women, for like mothers and daughters and all this stuff. And this guy came to her book signing.
Oh, holy shit! I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he did this book signing. He's like, why don't you ever talk about men? She's like, why forget that? He said, that's very convenient.
Yeah.
My wife and my daughter would rather me die on my fucking white horse than to ever be less than what they expect me to be. There's no room for a man to sit there and say I'm hurting. There's no room for a man.
She's great.
She was so taken by it that but it's true though. You're limited. You feel like unless you have developed relationships, like we're very fortunate that us three, we can all talk to each other about different things. Right? There may be a time that I need to talk to Chris, or Chris needs to talk to Zach, or I need to talk to Zach, because it might be something different. And it might be that it's something important. It might be something just frivolous. It's irrelevant. Sometimes you just need to decompress, but you're limited because, well, what's someone going to think of that? What's someone going to take from that?
And P.S. Talk on FaceTime or talk in person or something like this. Don't do it all through text, man.
Yeah, don't.
Text can get misconstrued. We had that little issue tonight, and like I thought about it after I text Bobby. I'm like, I need to clarify. The next thing he said to me seemed a little off. Maybe he misunderstood what I said. And I was talking about me being sick and needing to. I was sick and tired of it, and I just needed it to be over.
Yeah.
And he misunderstood what I was saying, but when I clarified, he's like, "Oh, okay." He goes, "I thought you were mad at me." I'm like, "Fuck it." In my own head, I'm like, God damn it, I hate texting because people just don't understand what you're saying. Well, and I'm talking about my sinuses draining me and frustrating me and just like bogging me down.
But here's the deal, though, man.
But I reread what I wrote. You could misconstrue it. You could.
But the thing was, I didn't think anything of it. I was just like responding to what I thought.
Right.
And that way you responded to what you thought. I was like, okay, yeah, no, that's cool. Then we're good.
Yeah. But that's just it, And I think about text conversations I do have. And it's something I've thought about multiple times over the years of texting these days. Maybe somebody doesn't understand exactly what I'm trying to say and they're misconstruing it.
Dude, is there anything better than fucking a sticky cherry at the end of an old fashioned? I don't think it is. I think it's like one of the best ever.
And I'll tell you a guilty pleasure of the sticky cherries, like you talked about.
Oh God, they're so good.
And I don't buy this brand all the time, but when I do, I really enjoy them. Woodford does those barrel-aged sticky cherries.
Yep, they do.
They're expensive.
Yep.
God damn, they're so good at the end. When you have that at the end, even after it's sat in the drink, you're like,
it's sitting in there is the best damn part.
Oh God.
Yeah, man.
It's got to be the last thing. It's got to be the last thing you do. And it's
so cool. And I mean, but
I'll say
this.
So the cherries I buy are Peninsula Premium.
Okay, yeah.
Peninsula Premium cherries. I would take over Luxardo. I would take Stickies. They are so good.
I haven't had those, but I'm a Luxardo fan. I'm a classic.
I'm telling you what, I like Luxardo, but when I got turned on to Premium or the Peninsula Premium, good God.
Where do you get those?
I got them on Amazon.
You get them on Amazon? Okay.
Yeah, I got turned on to them from a friend. The guy that was the best man at my wedding, his wife loves old fashions. And so when we get together, she makes them. She, was doing Luxardo on that, and I got turned on. One time she had these, and I was like, "Oh, these are so good."
Bobby's teeing it up again. Talked to another woman, and he got turned on.
But
I got turned on because of the drink.
I know.
I can remember the place where Sarah and I were, and they had Luxardo cherries, and they put them in her freaking old fashioned. And she was like, "What are these?"
Yeah, dude.
And we were like, "Whoa!" this is like a game changer, dude. Like, this ain't no freaking stupid maraschino freaking
No,
dyed
dude.
red.
I remember
frickin'
the first
cherry.
time I had them too. I know exactly where I had them.
And I just remember I was like, oh, this is we're getting these. Like there was not a like, oh, how much do they cost? I don't give a shit how much they cost. These are coming home. Like we're finding this, right?
Well, the Peninsula Premium, let me tell you, the Peninsula Premium is so good. Because what I did was I've had Luxardo, I've had the.
Is it more of a bitter cherry?
No. I don't know how to explain it.
It's dense. It's dense and it's like
super dense.
It bursts. Like when you chew it, it like bursts the flavor.
When you first crack the top, it looks like jam.
Yeah.
Until you put your spoon in, you realize it's not. And you're like, what is this? So I went through. So when I did it, I was like, because I was a Luxardo fan. I was a Luxardo fan. But then I went and looked. I literally went in and did sticky cherries. Right? That was my search on Amazon, sticky cherries. And so I looked at them all, and I was like, I know I've had this in a drink, but I wanted to see the reviews. And I looked at the reviews, and I was like, my God, why are these so more than everything else? Like beyond everybody else. They were the top of the top, but they were more affordable. They were cheaper. They were cheaper than Luxardo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was just like, huh. I said, well, I want to have them myself. So my taste test is, I put the spoon in, pull it out, let it drip off, and they just taste what's in the spoon. And then I'm like, oh, I was like, yes. And they do. It's like he says, it's almost like a
jam. It's thicker. It's
God,
not as.
But it's so good. It's
okay. All right.
They're Peninsula Premium. They're so good.
I'll buy. I'll buy a freaking.
They're super. They're significantly cheaper than Luxardo.
Hey Zach, to give you an idea, on Amazon they have 11,920 reviews.
Yeah.
With over 6K repurchases with a 4.5 rating.
Yeah.
Oh, they're fucking no doubt about it.
Listen, I never all the boozy ones or whatever, I never really liked those. I liked what Luxardo did, So if they're doing what Luxardo does, but they're just doing it a little better, a little different, I'm cool with that. I'm gonna buy them regardless. So
Yeah, they're Peninsula Premium. They're really
Peninsula Premium. Okay,
really good.
I'll look them up, man.
Yeah, they're the same price as the Luxardo now.
Well,
okay.
Well, today when I ordered, I just ordered.
They go up and down in price like anything.
It depends on where you get them from on Amazon, right? Because I paid $19 something.
Yeah, they're 24 right now. But like I said, they go up and down. You just got to watch them. Like if you buy two of them, it's $40 for two.
Yeah, that's usually the best deal. It's usually the way to do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's another one on there, dude. There's another one on there right now. It's $14.99.
Yeah, I got mine for $14.99. I was just looking up my order because they just came in today with $14.99.
You have to scroll way down.
Yeah,
the 20 ounce one is $24.99. The 10 ounce one is $14.99.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Oh, I'll buy the 20 ounce one because that's
yeah. For the price.
Yeah, it's better. It's a better price.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm spending more, but like price per ounce is cheaper.
Well, and if you're on Amazon,
the difference is that I wanted to try them out of the drink to see what they would be. I knew what they were.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have.
No,
I did $14.99
already.
I will. I mean, I will definitely be buying the bigger ones as I go because that was so good.
Another cool thing on Amazon that I finally found at one store here, but they don't even have it anymore. They carried it for like 2 months.
I'm gonna light another
expensive.
cigar.
But it's bitters. And I got it in a drink, and it was actually with a Lafroig 16 when I had it, and they called it an after-dinner cigar. So they made a cocktail, and they use, it's called Madame Laveau tobacco bitters.
What? Hold on.
It's like $20 for a bottle of bitters, but dudes, I am telling you,
Hold on.
holy.
What was in this cocktail? So they used Lafroig 16,
They used Lafroig 16. It had the
which is
tobacco bitters. It had fresh squeezed fermented. They made it there fermented lemon juice.
okay.
Let me see if I can find everything for it.
That's insane. Well, it would have to be lemon. Like that's
Yeah, dude, it was smoky. It was Zach. It was smoky, and like when I had it, I really felt like I was drinking a cigar. Like I didn't need to go have a cigar. It was the cocktail and the cigar together, but in a drink.
That's crazy.
And I was like,
the only thing that's coming up on Amazon is the Hyde bitters, which is the barrel aged Havana and Hyde bitters.
No, just look up tobacco bitters.
Okay.
That's interesting because you've had a penicillin, right, Chris?
Yeah.
Dude, that is one of my favorite Scotch cocktails.
Oh damn,
ever.
Bobby, it's not showing up on there.
I didn't see it.
It's out of New Orleans.
When you said Madame Laveau, I was like, yeah, that's New Orleans. So maybe you got to go Google search at Madame Laveau's, and then maybe they're not selling it on Amazon because they didn't want to.
Or it's Marie, not Madame Marie Laveau tobacco bitters, and it's got the voodoo doll with the pins in it and stuff on the label. But it's like $21 for the bitters. But dude, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Listen, that's one of those areas where you look at stuff and you go, oh, it's $20, and you're like, yeah, and then you look at regular bitters and they're like, you can get away with on some of them, with the $8 to $10, but there are certain ones that you really ought to spend the money,
Yeah.
And it was like, you know what? It was like Luxardo cherries whenever they they first came out.
So they have them on Bitter Queens, Marie Laveau tobacco bitters for $21.
Okay.
It's on Bitter Queens.
All right. Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah, they used to be on Amazon all the time. I don't see it on there. That's where I got my first set of it.
I wonder how that would work as like an accoutrement to a freaking penicillin.
Yeah, dude.
Because, dude, listen, I buy the 1.75 liter of Monkey Shoulder just for penicillins. Because I use the Monkey Shoulder because I want a blended malt, right? I don't want. And I'll tell you this: there is you don't float anything else on the top other than Lafroig.
Dude, this Bitter Queens has fucking bitters, like a lot of bitters. They have a Caribbean spice bitter. They have the Joker Judy, which is a chocolate walnut bitter. Thai spice bitters, eucalyptus. Dude, they got a lot of shit in here.
But I've come to find that is my favorite. For the base, But then making the honey syrup, you know what I mean? Like, dude, I'll tell you what. The last time I made the honey syrup, I used a barrel-aged honey, a whiskey barrel-aged honey. Oh, wow, dude. It was so good.
What are you listening to?
I was trying to find the recipe for you guys. And I believe it's a take on the Anders Ericsson cigar drink.
Oh, dude, I love Anders, man. He is.
But
like,
it's a play on that using Cynar and the tobacco bitters and the Lafroig and the lemon juice. Some people use lime from what I just looked at. Some people use rum.
So what I listen, I haven't done it yet, but I want to make an oleo sacrum.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
So, that's where you take the peels, right? And basically the citric acid.
Yep.
And you just let it like pull all the oils out, and it's supposed to be like a better, it actually has a longer shelf life too. Than like just straight, like simple syrups and stuff like that. But I haven't done it yet just because I hadn't found a good company to really buy the acids from.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't done all the freaking research and shit on it, but that's what a lot of the high end bars and stuff use. They're not actually squeezing a bunch of fresh lemons. They're actually making the oleo sacrum because it lasts so much longer. They had a much longer shelf life on it, and and they actually say the flavor's better. Like you get more of that because you're really getting that lemon oil. You know what I mean?
The essential oils.
The essential oil out of the peel. You know what I mean? And shit that saves you from getting all the damn seeds.
Well, I ordered them.
Attaboy. Attaboy.
I probably could have just made my own bitters out of a cigar. That'd have been
probably,
good, but it would have been. So Instagram disconnected again. That's weird.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
It's interesting. It's interesting that Instagram is the problem, right?
No. Instagram's a problem, but it's not necessarily Instagram. So when you go through and set it up, it tells you that there is a StreamYard issue with Instagram because I think there's a between Instagram and YouTube, there's a whatever that they're
an agreement.
I remember reading it one time that it said that there was a conflict in there that they were trying to get resolved.
Yeah, it did say conflict before.
It's an Instagram YouTube thing, not a StreamYard. StreamYard's trying to get the same availability to Instagram that it has with YouTube, and I think there's some kind of like whatever.
I don't understand how it doesn't benefit both of them, right? I think YouTube's already figured out like, hey, listen, it's ease of use, StreamYard all the way, right? If you want to have all the custom shit, on your stream, and you're willing to set all that up, OBS all day long. You know what I mean? But you want to just be able to just stream and put it out there, StreamYard makes that possible. And the only thing is StreamYard does cut the feed quality, what it uploads to YouTube. Yeah. And
boys, I'm gonna bounce just because I don't want this cold to stick. 2 hours in, I want to go get some sleep, so I'm back to normal.
Brother. All good.
All right.
But dude, it's been good. The coffee.
I'm probably going to end this, and then I might jump on Instagram.
Okay, cool.
I'm down for another cigar if you are, Zach.
I mean, whatever, dude. I'm
normally I would have a second cigar, but I'm not.
Yeah, I know you're fighting illness, man. I get it.
Listen, dude.
I'm down. I'm in the mood for another cigar. So
I will say this. It's not that I don't like the corduroy hat. I think it was the color combinations.
It might have been, dude. It was just one of those throwback thing to college to me. I'm like, oh, this is different.
But you were throwing like the same. You were throwing all the prepared thing on top of it, you know. And I know that's what you were doing. And I was like, you know, it doesn't look bad, but like that color is like, I'm like, I'm not gonna really wear that color.
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
Like I think if it was like the lighter tan, like the lighter tan on my Red Man hat, you know, the corduroy on there. If it was a lighter tan and maybe a darker low, I don't know. However that would work, but
I'm just screwing around with stuff, having fun.
And maybe that would be cool, you know, having the lighter tan with like a more patched looking logo. You know,
that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Maybe it was just because it was the kind of name logo kind of just going on there, but the patch logo probably
that would look good. Yeah,
give a little bit of contrast. That's like one of the reasons why I like the Red Man hat. So no,
right
dude,
on.
Other than that, man, everything else looked great, dude. I can't wait, dude. Anybody that has not signed up for the clusterfuck, we haven't mentioned it. If you have not signed up for the clusterfuck, guys, seriously, it would behoove you. The stuff Chris is coming up for this thing is freaking amazing, and you're gonna be fucking jealous. That's all I gotta say.
Hell yeah, man. All right, man. You guys have a good night. Thanks for everybody coming out. I'm out. Yep. Gotta go.
All right, yeah, we'll cut this. I'm probably gonna jump over on Insta.
Cool, dude.
Over there.
I'll probably I'll go grab another one and probably a small jacket because it's starting to turn off a little chilly.
All right. Well, that's where I'll be. I'm gonna get situated and give me about 5 minutes. I'll be over there. All right.
Sounds fantastic, dude.
All right. Thanks everybody for hanging out tonight.
Thank you, John. Everybody, seriously.
Yeah.
We
John,
appreciate all of y'all.
A lot of guys in there tonight. So thank you all.
Hey, anybody that's gonna do it, Bourbon Battalion on YouTube or on IG. Sorry, on IG.
All right.
We'll see you guys there.
Cheers.